Hey guys, my name is Terrell Taylor, and I'm your new content creator. I'm happy to be here. Y'all like my family, so just follow and support your boy, and it's all love. Um, what I'm gonna be bringing to the table, most of my content that I'm gonna be bringing to the table is gonna be regarding my life story, things that happened to me. So this is more personal than anything. It's not all about me. You're gonna be learning something at the same time, so that's what makes it even better. So the first thing you're gonna learn about in this video is a city marshal by the name of Diane Pollard. You're gonna learn about her. You're gonna know her role as a city marshal, and you're gonna also learn about the things that took place by City Marshal Diane Pollard. For example, her exceeding her authority and jurisdiction, doing things she don't have no power to be doing. You're also going to learn how documents was falsified to cover these actions up. You're going to see how Diane Pollard falsified documents. And you're gonna see falsified emblems and symbols. You're gonna see all of that. So you're gonna learn about jurisdiction. You're gonna learn about falsified documents, and you're gonna also learn about emblems and symbols. So let's get right to it. City Marshal Diane Pollard. Her job is to enforce orders from civil court cases, like collecting on judgments, towing, serving warrants, subpoenas, etc. There's a couple things that a city marshal does. So on April 22nd, 2024, City Marshal Diane Pollard, she booted my vehicle. I have a 2022 Honda Accord. Diane Pollard decided to boot my vehicle without any authority, without jurisdiction. 2 days later, which was April 24th, 2024, Diane Pollard decided to send an unknown male to tow my vehicle because I wouldn't pay to get the boot taken off. So this unknown male didn't have jurisdiction or authority to do what he did, and it's on camera, but he still decided to do it. And it had to come from City Marshal Diane Pollard, because she the one that initiated this whole process. So it had to come from her. She's totally involved in this. So anyway, my car got booted and towed, and come to find out, they didn't have jurisdiction to do any of this. Now we're going to talk about jurisdiction and how Diane Pollard didn't have jurisdiction. So in order for her to have jurisdiction to come do what she did, she would need a court order from a judge, and that's called a writ of execution. It's an order from a judge. It has to be typed up. It can't be filled in with a pen. It's typed up. A certified writ of execution. Diane Pollard never received that from a court. So she took matters into her own hand to come boot my car, as well as have it towed. She need that order from the court, which is a writ of execution. And it has to be certified. It can't be falsified. So, secondly, the person that towed my car which was an unknown male, he has to have a thing called a lien and sell document. Let me get the exact. It's called Notice of Lien and Sale under sections 184 and 201 of the lien law of the state of New York. They have to go through the motor vehicles. This has to go through the motor vehicles, and this indicates where my car is being held at. It gives a description of the car. It has the towing fees. It has the date it was towed. It indicates everything that's dealing with the vehicle. And plus, you should know where the vehicle was stored or where it's being stored. So I have yet to receive this document from Diane Pollard. She have yet to provide this document to me, even though I requested it and everything. So what does that indicate? That indicates that the car should have never been towed in the first place. And you can't inform me on where my car is at. How can you have somebody's car towed and not inform them on where it's being held with all the fees and taxes, fees, just the miscellaneous fees that's associated with it, you know, storage fees. So not only in this case are we missing the notice of lien and sale under sections 184 and 102 of the lien law, but we don't have a court order giving either one of these individuals the authority to do what they did. Specifically, the City Marshal, Diane Pollard. So, in a minute, I'm going to show y'all the court order that City Marshal Diane Pollard, what she uses and what she provides to me to justify her actions. I'm going to show you all the paperwork that's involved in this case that they use to justify their actions. And you can see how it's clearly uncertified. Now, before I do that, I want to inform y'all on how important uncertified documents are and how important it is to be able to know when you have an uncertified document or falsified document in front of you, and when somebody is using that to take action against you. So you have people serving hundreds of years in jail because of uncertified documents, falsified documents. You got people getting their property taken, sold, etc. The list goes on. And what they do to cover it up, use uncertified documents, falsified documents. That is such a big crime. Like, these people have a certain way of doing things, and it's really sinister. It really is, and it's sad. And these are the real criminals, because you're falsifying documents, and at the same time, you tormenting people. You have people suffering because of this, and it shouldn't even be happening. You don't even have certified documents to back it up. So it's very important, and to break it down a little more, why it's so important is because you could look at the document and not know it's falsified, and you think this is really going on. Like the landlord now trying to give a falsified lease, an uncertified lease. So if you don't know what it looked like and somebody give that to you, they could have you under the impression that something is really taking place when it's not. And they can have you come to an appointment where there was never an appointment in the first place. Like with workers' comp, and I don't want to get off the topic, but they gave me an appointment to go see a medical examiner, and come to find out I didn't even have the appointment. And that caused my benefits to be lowered. And that's going to be spoken about in another video. But back back to the topic. So the first thing I want to show you guys is the writ of execution that City Marshal Diane Pollard used to justify her actions. I want to show you guys that, and I'm going to show you what a notice of lien and sale looks like under sections 184 and 201. I'm going to show you a certified one. Remember, I don't have the one that I'm supposed to have at the moment that's dealing with my current vehicle. This notice of lien I'm going to show you and sell, this is for my vehicle I had in the past. And luckily, I received that because it put me on of how the document should look, and the fact that you should even receive it when your car is being towed. So give me a second, you guys. I'm going to turn the camera around because you have to work with me. I don't have an editor, so I have to actually show it to you this way, and just work with me for right now. So the first thing we're going to show you is we're going to show you the writ of execution. It's pretty nice outside today, you guys, but so it's kind of windy. Just work with me. Okay, you guys, this is the writ of execution. You see it says execution right there. Now you see where the dates is filled in with a pen. It was written. It says week of 4/19/2024 through 4/25/2024. That should not be filled in with a pen. This is supposed to be typed up because this is an order from a court, from a judge. This shouldn't be filled in with a pen. That shouldn't be. The signature is cool probably, but it should be a judge signature there. There's no judge signature. But if they try to get around that, this is not supposed to be filled in, you guys. It's supposed to be typed in. Somebody falsified it and filled it in. And down here, these two dates. So that's a writ of execution, a falsified one. So I also want to show you while I'm down here, I want to show you guys what a notice of lien and sale document looks like. You see it indicates everything that's going on with the car. The storage fees, the towing fees, the date, the garageman, his name, where the car is at, the person's name. You see this is a 2022 Civic that I had. You understand? Different car. This is a real document, and you see it's from the Department of Motor Vehicles, and look at the emblem. So this is what I mean by emblem. This is a certified. Even though it's a copy, you can see the difference. You get a close-up on that emblem. And then you see it's from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Cool. That's one document. Next document I want to show you is this is what Diane Pollard sent to me. She sent a piece of paper with the towing fees, the storage fees, and all of that. She made her own paper. You see that? You see how she falsified that? You see that, right? And look at the emblem, the symbol. You see? You see how fake that is? It don't look real, and it's not real, and it's not supposed to come on a piece of paper like that. She made this herself. It should come on a notice of lien and sale document that I showed you. So you see that. Now next, I forgot to tell you guys, but I'm gonna tell you in a minute. I want you to look at this workers' compensation board emblem, symbol. You see this? This is certified. We don't need to get into what that was about because that's not the case here. And here's an uncertified one. You see that? Let's say workers' comp at the top. This is an appointment I had. This does not come from the workers' comp. But I was under the impression to keep that appointment. Unbelievable. And I kept it, and it caused me a problem. So look what happened with uncertified documents. Now you got the Department of Motor Vehicles. This is a certified emblem symbol right here. You see? You can't beat that. So I'm going to get into this in a minute after I show you. Now this is an uncertified document from the Department of Motor Vehicles. And look at that emblem right there. So fake. And it's from the FOIL department. You see? It's falsified. This one is from the FOIL department. And it's a Freedom of Information law. You see the difference? You see how it's certified? I got the New York State emblem on there. It should look like that. So I showed you guys a couple of documents. And now, sorry you guys, but you gotta work with me. So, I want to jump into the document that's called Notice of Lien and Sale, because this relates to this FOIL request that I just showed y'all. So Diane Pollard refused to provide a notice of lien and sale under sections 184 and 201 of the lien law of the state of New York. She don't have it, so I don't even know if refuse is the right term, but she don't even have it, so it's something she can't refuse it. She don't have it. It's not in her possession, which means my car was taken, towed technically, and just placed somewhere where I have no knowledge of, and that's a crime, you know. But they quick to wanna, you know, accuse us of these crimes, but this lady clearly committed a crime, and she's a city employee, a government, a law enforcement official. Anyway, so what I did, due to the fact that I wasn't able to receive this document, I foiled it. That's another thing you're gonna learn today. Forgot to mention it, but you're gonna learn about Freedom of Information law, FOIL. Now that pertains to documents that the government have that they don't want to give up, as long as it's pertaining to you. The way to retrieve those documents is through a FOIL request, Freedom of Information law. So I foiled this document, a notice of lien and sale under section 184 and 201 of the lien law of the state of New York. Now, the FOIL officer is the Department of Motor Vehicles. You have to know that. You have to know where you're making your request to. You're making your request to the Department of Motor Vehicles, because that's who has the document. And it has to go through the Department of Motor Vehicles because we're dealing with a vehicle here. So you have to understand that, because at first I didn't know. You could know about FOIL, but then you got to ask yourself, some of us might not know. Where am I going to make my request to? Or who am I going to make my request to? So this is the Department of Motor Vehicles. So I made my request to the Department of Motor Vehicles. Now let me show you guys one more time so you can have a clear understanding of where I'm coming from. This is my request to the Department of Motor Vehicles right here. Remember, this incident happened April 24th, 2024. That was the towing of my vehicle. The booting was April 22nd, 2024. So this request was made about a month later. This is where they responded. So it was made before a month, but it was made a couple weeks later. Let's just say that. So you could see in the request, or in her response, they state, this is the Department of Motor Vehicles response. You can see in a response, they said that they need a total of 40 business days to complete my request. The reason for this delay is the number of records you are requesting is substantial. Additional time is needed to locate, compile, and copy these records. How does it take so long for one piece of document? And they lied and said it was a number of records. It's not a number of records. It's one document that should be readily available. And it should definitely be available. The fact that this is dated May 22nd, 2024. This request is not substantial. You see, they saying it's substantial. It's not substantial. The number of records that you're requesting are substantial. It's not even records with an S. It's one document, and it's not substantial. So you can see how the Freedom of Information office is pretty much making an excuse of why they can't get the document. This right here is evidence that the document doesn't exist. And you see, it's dealing with the license plate. It says, and we got the VIN there, so we know that it's dealing with the vehicle. And we talking about the notice of lien. We talking about this document right here. This is the document I'm requesting. It shows where my car is at once again, and I'm repeating this because a lot of people are not familiar with law, and we need to take our time and pay attention to things like this. So, this is what I'm requesting. If you can't provide this, then that means that you can't justify the towing of my vehicle. And that means I don't know where my vehicle is at. I don't know where it's at the moment. So once again, I also want to show you. Now this is them sending this falsified document. It's not from the Department of Motor Vehicles. They sending this telling me I gotta pay for the documents that they making reference to, or for the fees that they making reference to and documents in this response letter right here. And then they send an uncertified document telling me to pay. This is certified, as in a response. This is uncertified, where they trying to charge me for documents that I'm requesting. This how you know that the documents that they referring to doesn't pertain to my car, because it's an uncertified piece of paper they sent. And once again, the fact that it's taking all these days and it's only one document that I'm requesting and it's not substantial, and they saying it take 40 days and it should be readily available, shows you that they don't have it. It doesn't exist. Follow me? It doesn't exist. Sorry you guys about that. So we see that the document don't even exist from the FOIA request. We see all of that. And this proves that these people ain't have no jurisdiction to do what they did. So you learned about emblems. You learned about symbols. And these things indicates where the document is coming from, where the paperwork is coming from. To be more specific, it identifies an organization, an institution, a company, etc. That's what an emblem or a symbol does. It identifies an organization, a service. You understand? So we have to pay close attention to these symbols and to these falsified documents, y'all. We have to, because if not, you're going to be under the impression like whatever's taking place, whatever's commencing, whatever's transpiring, you're going to think that it's real when actually it's fake, it's null and void. And they getting around it with uncertified documents. Documents with fake emblems and symbols. So I'm dropping something on you that's real right now. This is real stuff. I do this to teach, and I'm doing it to make a living as well. But this is real stuff. And I want to tell y'all that, when you're watching me, you want to pay attention to the message. The message is real. Don't pay attention if it's a little scruffy, if I might be a little scruffy, whatever. You need to pay attention to the message, because it's wake up time. It's time to wake up, and I'm going to put you on to some real game. So I want to go over it again, because it's about to be done. I think I touched on everything. We have to pay attention to falsified documents. We got to know what it look like. We got to know what real symbols and emblems look like. I just showed you the difference. You see it. Some of them say New York State. They got that New York State, look, certified look. It says New York State. It doesn't look, it could be a copy, but it still has to look certified. When you're looking at the copy, you see the difference. The uncertified ones, it looked like it was just typed up on a computer, typewriter, whatever. The other one looks different, actually like it was done on a computer, a certified look, a symbol, a real one. So you could just tell the difference. Then you could compare them to your old documents that you got from the same place. That's how I did it, to see the difference in how it looks when it's real and when it's not, because they give you real documents if the situation doesn't put they back against the wall. But as soon as it put they back against the wall, they start sending out fake documents. So you can just look at the difference, you feel what I'm saying, and compare it to yourself, or actually pull them up. So I want us to pay real close attention to that, because like I told you, they're locking people up for this stuff, or they're using this after they lock them up, and they serving a lot of time. They taking people's property, etc. Like the list goes on and on. And what they do to get around it, when you start asking questions and you want answers and you requesting documents and stuff, they start using falsified paperwork. And we're falling for it. Or having you come to an appointment you wasn't supposed to go to because of falsified documents. I falsified a letter that was an appointment, and you went to it and didn't know. Also, watch my reviews, my Google reviews, because I got a couple of them, and you can learn from that as well, because I'm putting stuff out there and exposing what these people are doing. So yeah, man, I hope you guys learned a lot. This is my first video. It's been like a half an hour. I'm excited. You learned about jurisdiction, which is and jurisdiction could mean, it has different meanings to it. You have geographical jurisdiction, which is the location, the venue of where a case takes place or something takes place. And then you have subject matter jurisdiction. And we're not going to get into the different types of jurisdiction, but I want y'all to be familiar with that term. The way it's being used in this case, in my case, we're talking about the authority or power to do something. That also means jurisdiction. When it comes to the authority and power of somebody to do something, to take action, they need jurisdiction in order to do that. They can't be acting without jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is so serious that if a judge do something outside the scope of his duties or without jurisdiction, without the authority or power to do it, he can be sued. And he has absolute immunity from all suits unless it's without jurisdiction. You see that? You see how powerful jurisdiction is? It's very powerful. And most of the time when you make them claims, they don't want to hear that, because now you get into the root cause of the problem. They don't want to hear they didn't have jurisdiction to do X, Y, Z. They don't want to hear that. So, remember, jurisdiction, in this case, because there's different ones, is when a person is when you're dealing with authority and power to do something. So if you're acting with jurisdiction, then that means you had the authority. If you're acting without it, then you didn't have it. So, and what gives a person jurisdiction? A court order, a judge, etc. Most of the time it's a judge. You know, they're the ones that makes decisions and on everything that goes on in our life. You have to go before a judge. So somebody has to, and I'm breaking it down like this for people that need, you know, to learn the basics, you know. So people have to have the power or authority to do something, and they have to get it from somewhere or someone. And that's a judge in most of the cases. They have to get it from someone. Same as a warrant. I want to just give y'all guys an example. A warrant, that gives the police the authority to come run in your house and search your house. They have to go before a judge. That's what gives them the authority. Without that, they're acting without jurisdiction, which is a major issue. It's so major that a judge, that's the only thing a judge can be sued for. That shows you how serious it is. So, and you learned about symbols, and you saw what uncertified documents look like, and it kind of all coincide with one another, because a person that's falsifying documents, whether they filling it in with a pen or whether they got a fake symbol or emblem on the document, on the paperwork, which is not identifying where it came from, what institution or company it came from. If you're doing all of that, then of course you're acting with jurisdiction. You have to do that. When you're acting without jurisdiction, you're gonna have to put fake symbols on documents. You're gonna have to fill stuff in with a pen. You're gonna have to do that. So that's why I say it goes together. But I just wanted to break it down separately so you can have a clear understanding. Now, a lot of people might know this, and I know a lot of people don't. So I wanted to take my time and go through it carefully so you can really understand what's going on here. And oh yeah, so I do have a court date on the I have a court date next month on the 8th, so that's July 8th. And then I have another court date for July 17th in 2024. And I wanted to mention this to y'all because, you know, CarNet just cut my lights out because of this case. And it's a lot of stuff I'm gonna tell y'all whether y'all believe it or not, but they just cut my lights out and my gas just because of this case. And how do I know that? So when I first went to court, I filed an order to show cause. I tried to, and they deterred me. The clerks deterred me from doing that. They made me file a petition. Now, order to show cause make the process go faster. I still filed the order to show cause on a later date, but I filed the petition, and once I filed the petition, this was, well, I forgot exactly what day I filed it, but they had 20 days. They had 20 days to respond. Actually, it was the end of May. So they had 20 days to respond to the petition. And that's the rules of the court. So that would be the 20th of this month, would be their deadline to respond to all the allegations in my petition. And the allegations is what I just showed you guys. I presented all of this to the court. So the judge know, once he read this, he knows I'm totally in the right, and it's no way to justify the actions of the city marshal. So my whole point is, they didn't respond in 20 days. I wasn't expecting them to respond. So now that they didn't respond and the time exceeded for them to make a pleading, or opposition, whatever you want to call it, that means I could file a default judgment. And that's exactly what a default judgment is. You know, it's now the judge can rule in my favor as a result of these people, Diane Pollard, the city marshal, as a result of her not filing an opposition. She has not filed the opposition to my claims. She has not made any pleading or anything. And the law states that, whether it's criminal or civil, the law states that if a person makes claims and you don't file an opposition, no rebuttal or anything, that's a concession. You're conceding. You're admitting to the allegations. So they're admitting to it. They're admitting to the allegations. They never filed the opposition. And their deadline was the 20th of this month. So what do you know? The 20th of this month, my lights went out. And my gas went out by Con Ed. And that's a whole nother video. But I just wanted to put that out there because it's a link to this case. So my case is being heard in 8811 Sufton Boulevard. You know, that's Jamaica, New York, 11434, if I'm not mistaken. But we all know, you know, if you're from New York City or Queens, you know where 8811 Sufton Boulevard is at. So the civil court. So that's where it's being held. I'm not gonna get into the part right now, but I'm just saying that's where it's being held, and it's on for July 8th and July 17th, because, you know, that's another story. They made me file the motion separately, so I got two different court dates, but it's going in front of the same judge. So hopefully on the 8th, that's a big day. Hopefully on the 8th, you know, he could just settle this thing. We don't even have to go back on the 7th. I don't have to go back on the 17th. So I just want to put that out there. And also, this is how you know when you're doing something right, because these people want to put your lights out, put your gas out. If I wasn't doing the right thing, and this motion, these moving papers didn't have validity, you know, it's not frivolous. Don't try to say it's frivolous. It's not frivolous. You know, if it was frivolous, they wouldn't have put your lights out. They always do something out of anger when your papers, your moving papers, has validity to it. They start getting mad. Or when they know they have no choice but to do the right thing. You have no choice. You understand? And you know, as a result of that, Con Ed decided to put my lights out in a heat wave and put my gas out, put my electricity, shut my electricity off. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I got a lot of other information to give to y'all, you know, so you will be hearing from me on a regular. This is definitely gonna be on a consistent level, you know. gonna be very consistent with this. And you can follow me on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's about it. Yeah, on all social media platforms. So it was nice speaking to you guys. You know, work with me. I know I didn't bore y'all. I know I didn't, cause you know, I got a lot to teach. So stick with me, share the video. You know, this is my first one. I will be getting better. I think I did good. I'm pretty excited. I'm about to celebrate after this. And I see you guys on the next video. Peace.